Hey everybody, what's good again? I'm gonna have to get me one of them tripods. It's time to really start getting serious, you guys, and put the work in for the podcast, so to speak. I guess. I really was trying to. I'm telling you, I was trying to see how everything was gonna play out. If somebody was gonna show up, if there was gonna be anything progression regarding, me in the entertainment business. So I guess that's not gonna happen. So I'm trying to see, as far as the minute details of engagement, how I get involved in doing the simplest things. I have been keeping a diary, as you see, of there's no particular titling of anything, or it's just when I took this creative writing course in high school. Um, Again, shout out to Kalamazoo Central, uh, and we called our teacher by name. His first name was one of those type of instructors that was very altruistic and artistic. I believe his name might have been Charles. I'm not sure, but he insisted that we call him by his first name, and that he had very much addressed the class like it was a college course, or he was a college professor, and to familiarize us with how things would be in college. And so he actually was the teacher he was over several different departments or different classes, such as journalism, yearbook, and creative writing. My And so I took him for the creative writing course, and I also had him for yearbook, I believe, as I was part of the yearbook staff for what was supposed to be my junior year there. So that's why you should see some photographs of me. That was in the 87, it was in 1987. Ooh, 19 anything sounds old, right? Telling my age. But 1987 yearbook, before I actually moved here to Texas. There should be photographs of me everywhere. Again, proving, I just have to prove that I was in that area, I guess. Yes, we lived at 1213 North Park Street, off of Park Street and Patterson Street, right? There was a church caddy corner. I believe it might have been called Galilee, maybe. uh, Caddy corner from the home that we stayed in. It has since been torn down as it was condemned, because that lets you know what type of condition it was in and the living conditions that were what it consisted of when we were there. But again, it was supposed to be a step up for my grandmother, Lena Anderson, as she was leaving uh, what was then called Patwood. I don't know what they call it now, but yeah, so we moved there, and during the course of time, you know, I think we lived there probably a year and a half, almost two, before I actually left and came down here, and that was even spur of the moment for those that were around me that saw the situation go down. But yeah, when I got down here, I really put my nose to the grindstone when I found out about the whole credit situation for high school and graduation, and how really far I was behind with that, and having to address matters. And there's people to this day that don't believe how I turn things around with that. But that goes to show you, when I put my mind to something, I accomplish it. Speaking of which, I am uh it is not lost on me that I have picked up so much weight, you guys. You see my face is fat. You know what I'm saying? Um it's time to address that, like really address that. No conversation piece. I'm hoping that what I did previously in my youth will work for me now. I don't see as to the reason why it wouldn't, other than hormones, of course. And as you age, it's a little bit harder to get the weight off. As you see, a lot of our, divas from the 90s period have packed on the pounds if they didn't have the money to address it, uh, as far as keeping up their dietary needs. And then, of course, a lot of people just went under the knife to address it too. I'm not one that believes in going under the knife. I've never had any type of plastic surgery done. This is all natural that y'all looking at, which I'm sure you can tell. Um, but once I set my mind to addressing my physical attributes, and I'm telling you, I'm one of these people that once I start, it's the starting. It's the, I'm telling you, I'll be full on, and then you can't. It's hard to break my focus or concentration once I'm full on. I'm not distracted by anything else. That's why I say a gentleman being in my life, eh, I will be, I'm focused. It's Jay in the words of Jay Z, I'm focused, man. So it wouldn't be, fair to any gentleman if I was, because I wouldn't. He just wouldn't have, he wouldn't be on my mind. He wouldn't be on the forefront. And I believe that when I'm focused in a relationship type situation, that man comes first, and he also gets the same amount of focus and attention that I would give anything else. Um, my all, so to speak. And unfortunately, I have reached a certain age, and I'm accepting of the fact that you know I'm set in my ways. I put it like that, and so I'm not gonna obtain what it is that I would be seeking for myself. I'm beyond that time frame of life. So, in other words, I don't want the leftovers. Once you get to a certain age, a man is going through divorce and he's going through, marriage. But when you meet a mate at this stage in life, they have had somebody that started up their truck. Uh I'm gonna have to wait until they leave, until they pull off. There we go. I guess. Boy, them trucks, y'all be wanting these loud trucks or loud vehicles. I don't know what the fascination is with all of that. But yeah, as I was saying, before I was so rudely interrupted by the truck, I'm not looking for a romantic interest as the most important thing in life as you age. Your health is your wealth, even if you don't have any money. You know what I'm saying? So, me being aware of that, and the swelling in my leg and all of that there, that takes precedence over everything else in my life. And so I have to work towards that, right? Um, so yeah, so no shade to the fellas. But I think that particular area of life has come and gone for me. Because what I would want is top tier. It's like wanting caviar, and all you have are crackers. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. You get what you put out, so to speak. And I'm beyond the putting out the for the caliber of men that I would be wanting to engage with is what I'm saying. So, you gotta be on that. This is a range. So you gotta be in order for you to get what it is that you want. You have to be on that scale. That's where it's always been in my life, and what I've always seen. I've had women ask me, how do I get such men during the course of my life? Because I ain't gonna lie, I've had some stellar fellas, but they weren't interested in having or sustaining a relationship in that way. And my mind wasn't on that either. I was, to be quite honest, I wasn't. I had no idea about all this stuff. Had I known that my main focus was supposed to be getting a mate and getting married, I would have made it. Made it a priority to do all of that. But since I didn't know, you know, it is what it is, and so it's like, what do you do moving forward? Uh, Now that you have that information, it's the quality of life that I'm concerned with, not you know the quantity. Once you get to a certain age, once you get to 50 and above, you are interested in the quality of life that you have. All the other stuff don't matter. You want to have a healthy life. You want to be able to have the wherewithal to do the things that you love to do and continue to have these things until Almighty God calls you home. And so that's what I'm concerned with. Unfortunately, it's the world we live in is there are more opportunists and scammers. Y'all, I ain't never seen it like this. Like, it is crazy, right? I mean, I thought it was crazy when I was working at the bank, but I'm just like, gee, I used to see stuff. People used to fudge numbers and do all kind of stuff. I was like, okay, so I need something to substantiate the funding that you talking about you got, because this don't look, you know, what you showing me. I don't see it here. It's not consistent, right? It looks like these numbers are, why are the numbers different? I was one of these type of people that had to catch errors like that, or had to raise those type of questions. And so, the world we live in now, so many people, you can't trust anybody. It's sad, but you can't. Even it's always someone that's close to you that would try to take advantage of you and try to, they would try to, to do. I've had, since this has all happened to me, mm, I would never ever. I don't see myself dating anyone seriously at all. Um, After all of this, it's just not an option for me, right? This person that pulled up with these bright lights. See what I be saying, y'all? Rude, rude. Let me see if I can turn this way. That's a little better. See how my skin is like too tall? Yeah, so I'm gonna have to switch my focus to my health and reestablishing my health. These photographs that I was posted today, even, were taken within the last 5 to 7 years, except for the body shot. That one was done back in '96, I believe. But I pretty much was the same size, and I just took care of myself. And now I know that, hindsight being 2020, there was a lot of jealousy and people were mad, like really mad. My legs being attacked is not lost on me. There were two, there were women that made comments about my legs. Why? I don't know. And I didn't think about none of it, y'all. I'm telling you, I never thought about it. But they are, people would look at my legs, and I guess they resented the fact that theirs were not shaped like mine or something. It sounds so weird. You know what I'm saying? It is weird. Um, I'm like, why would you look at another? I mean, that's crazy. It was crazy. That just so to have my legs attacked, and they look deformed now to me. I'm just like, Jesus Christ. But I used to wear high heel shoes. I used to love shoes. I had a shoe fetish. I had so many shoes, y'all, and boots and just heels. And I used to wear them every day, and so uh, people was I had no idea that people were really tripping off the fact that their legs were not like mine, and they thought everything came easy to me, because I had so many pairs of shoes. But if you go to the 9.99 shoe store, you can find you some good deals too on closeout shoes that came from Nordstrom and places like that. I just knew how to shop, you know. So when people would see me with stuff, I had no idea that the animosity ran that deep, or the resentment, or the jealousy, or whatever they call themselves doing. But yeah, the focus has to be health and wellness, and nobody ever came through. And like I said, when you have a deal, when you're trying to work a deal, all of this sight unseen stuff, not for the type of not for the type of situation, business deals that I'm wanting to do. It won't be a lot of sight unseen things. You know what I'm saying? So um, you want to make sure that you are above board with anyone that you're working with. It's so much sinister stuff happening now. I'm not willing to take those type of chances right now. I mean, the first deal, I would prefer it be an in-person deal where somebody, because y'all keep talking about how easy it is, and I know how it's structured. I sat through 3 days of seminars and trainings, and regarding you know uh, how to set up deals and things like that. But person's each person's program or perspective on how to do deals is different. And so being cognizant of that, I would prefer that person present themselves in person. That would be the way that I do business too. If I was on, if the shoe were on the other foot, and our roles were reversed, I would want to definitely see the person in person. If it's somebody that's homeless and they ain't got no place to stay and they ain't got no money, and and I am an investor and I know how easy it is for me to work deals, and whatever I provide or whatever I do, I know it's a write off. I can actually write it off on my taxes. Um, as a charitable organization or something that I could do like that. There are things you can do. I just know too much about it, and so I'm just like, these people ain't right. If they wanted to do something, they could, right? As opposed to having me sitting out here like this. So, um, trust me, you guys, I'm very astute. I was the person that had to go over documentation when you wanted to purchase homes. And so, you know, the false sense of sincerity from those individuals that are providing offers, I know there's a dollar amount attached to it. You, as far as what they stand to profit, you know. Or what they would want to have as skin in the game, or some money that they put down towards whatever program that they're offering or extending information on. I just wish people were more transparent, because if it were me, I'd just put it out there. Look, it's gonna cost you this. This is what it's gonna be. When do you want to start, and do you have the initial startup money? And even go as far, if necessary, to flip the first deal. Foot the first deal if I could, because I know I'm gonna make my money back. You know what I'm saying? So that lets me know the generosity and the sincerity of folks, and where their heart posture really is when it comes to this, because it doesn't cost you nothing and you get the money back. If you write it off, you're gonna get it back anyway, right? And you're gonna do multiple deals in the course of 1 year. So I don't know. I just my heart is and mind is different than everybody else, right? So if I was gonna do something like that, that's why I look at everybody. I'd be like, "Are you for real? You can't be for real. I just give them enough rope to hang themselves because it's just like, why I gotta come to you? Why I gotta do all of this? If you can close the deal in 4 days, let's do it. If you can close the deal in 30 days, let's do it. So that I can turn around and do another deal and give you the money that you invested back. Let's do that. You know what I'm saying? These people, they be just talking like, mm, and the level of commitment, I don't know. Because if I can work on a position in corporate America for 10-year periods of time between 3 and 4 years, and never go without employment, for stretches of time or anything like that, um, I think the person should think I'm trustworthy enough to at least establish the first deal. And so I would be out of this position immediately, right? So it's an investment, whatever it is that they do. Whether or not they're really interested in doing it is really the question, and it looks like nobody is. And so I have got to bare knuckle it myself as I do with everything else, and try to come up with the money to establish at least the first deal, right? Um, it's crazy because there is so much money to be made, and there is enough to go around, y'all. The world, not to mention, I mean, everybody is waiting for the bubble to burst or for the economy to bottom out as far as real estate. They waiting for it to happen because of inflation and the state of the economy right now. But y'all, Almighty God ain't playing. We may have natural disasters before we have the economy wiped out to where you gonna make that money and you waiting just to, waiting. You're holding on to everything, and the yeah, the Lord is saying, and it's given to me in spirit that the actual Mother Nature might not cooperate. As far as the time frame it would take for the inflation to be impacted to where the economy bottoms out in real estate. You may have a situation where you're actually having to those insured properties as a real estate investor, where everything is destroyed. If you having tornadoes and this, that, and the other, yeah, come on. It's a lot. But again, I digress. I'm sitting outside, and the whole thing with the tax liens and for properties, and you still gotta have money, y'all. You still gotta have money. I would love to see it for $35. I would love to, or $20. Somebody didn't pay their taxes for $20, so they lost their house. Child, this is Texas. In most cases, if your PITI principal interest is not where it's supposed to be, you gonna owe some money, and so that money has to come out of the pocket of the individual that is trying to obtain the lien for the property. Trying to obtain the tax lien. So it's ways you can go about it and do things. But like I said, ain't nobody putting it. It's like put up or shut up. Do you got the money? Because if you got the money, then you can get me out of this situation immediately. And if you don't have the money, just stop talking about it like you do and talk about, well, if you would just come here or do this or show. Ain't nobody finna do all that. There's too much stuff going on. There's too much stuff going on. They got the Mexican cartels. You can't just be showing up anywhere out of town and thinking that somebody is gonna be forthright. It's too much stuff going on in the world, y'all. And unfortunately, the entertainment industry is not what I thought it was. And so you got people that are in the industry that ain't making the type of money that they need to make, and they looking to come up off of people too. It's sad, but it's just how it is. Um, and that's not to speak to nobody specific. And I mind the business that pays me, so y'all ain't gotta worry about me leaking or snitching on y'all or doing anything like that. It ain't worth it to me. It ain't. I'm trying. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get a little place to stay, so I can put my little head down and stay out of everybody else's business. So even though I may know, I'm like the little old lady on the Matrix in the movie The Matrix, the Oracle that know everything. That don't necessarily mean that I'm going to express everything, you know. And it is what it is. I'm not trying to have my head on the neck on the chopping block for those that ain't willing. I mean, I ain't nobody to nobody else. The people that I love most in the world, they're dead. So everybody else is kind of like, you know, take them or leave them kind of situation. So, and they've already shown me what they think about me. So I just gotta go on and sustain myself and ensure that I am in the best health possible. Um, and that my financial future is at least decent. It don't have to be. I don't have to be wealthy, but I want to make sure that it's decent. Y'all feel me on that? But yeah, health and wellness. We got to go in with that. See how we can address that. Whew, child. Just the start of the cardio, the thought of it, driving me nuts. But y'all continue to be blessed to be you, and all you're getting, get understanding, so that you don't end up in a situation that I'm in. Shout out to Ice Cube, who's the Mac. Had I not had direction, definitive direction like that, plus my father's rearing, I probably would have flew out of here a long time ago, trying to listen to somebody that was giving me promises, pie in the sky kind of stuff. It's unfortunate just how a lot of girls get trafficked. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. Y'all have a good day.